Fandoms. They can be a great way for people with the same interests to come together. A lot of these tend to lead to friendships, relationships even, and just a community and sense of belonging with people who feel the same way about certain shows or books or movies as you do. But there are times when certain people of fandoms take things a little too far, and these can lead to the dark, crazy, or cringy sides of these fandoms. And that, my friends, is what we're going to explore today. Some of the craziest, insane moments from fandoms when fans took things too far. Hi guys, my name is Maritello and I share everything that I find interesting. Make sure if you enjoyed this video to like it and consider subscribing to my channel for more things like this. And if for some reason I don't mention one of your favorite crazy fandom moments, go ahead and add it in the comments and maybe I'll do a second part to this video. I have other YouTube channels that I will link in the description below, as well as my TikTok and Instagram if you ever want to check those out. I usually just post like silly skits or mini theories on those. So if you want to check those out, I'll put my username down here and I'll have the links in the description below. With all of that out of the way, let's grab a drink and a snack and let's dive right in. A lot of people knew that this was going to come up on this list, and for those who assumed that, you're probably around the same age as me, so how's that quarter-life crisis treating you? And for those of y'all who don't know what I'm talking about, this is a very gross story, and I will have to censor a little bit of it. If you do get uncomfortable talking about just gross things, I would definitely recommend going to this timestamp and skipping the story altogether. No judge if you skip or not, but just wanted to let y'all know this one is really nasty. Now, before we actually discuss the Rainbow Dash jar incident, we need to discuss where the inspiration came from. No pun intended. There is a 4chan user whose name I cannot say in this video, but let's just say it is a play on words of a Christian religious figure and male bodily fluid. And basically what this guy allegedly did was fill jars and bottles up with said fluid and post them every year on his 4chan. He began doing this in 2007 and continued, and in 2018 he finally revealed that it was all a hoax, and the fluid that we were actually seeing was homemade ginger beer. But this unfortunately was revealed as a hoax a little too late. Because in April of 2014, an anonymous 4chan user who was supposedly inspired by the aforementioned 4chan user, he posted a picture of a figurine of Rainbow Dash from My Little Pony sitting in a jar. And he called this the Pony Jar Project. And in the following months, this user was posting photos in his progress to fill the jar. And his project ended up with a problem that November. You see, the place where he was hiding this jar apparently was right under a radiator, and it basically boiled the contents. Yeah, it's super gross. On November 11th, 2014, the user posted the infamous jar photo, which I will show and blur, with the following caption: "Come before you today to reveal a horrible accident with the Pony Jar Project. The place where I was hiding my jar was apparently on top of a giant radiator that was connected to our furnace, and of course, since it's getting colder, we light it up. So basically, the Rainbow Dash figure has been boiled in it's brown now, and for comparison, I have also got another glass of about a week old. I will probably still bury it someday." Now, despite the setback, the user was still posting updates on the jar. In 2016, he decided that he was going to use a separate jar to collect and then pour it into the original jar. And then in 2017, he decided to transfer the entirety of that jar into a more compact jar. And he even made a YouTube video which showed the transfer process. And of course, this led to a bunch of memes and costumes and just about anything that you can find online. But it also led to a bunch of copycat photos. There's one where a user took a Hatsune Miku figurine and put it in a jar and posted about it. And I even found one of a Jeffrey Epstein figurine, which why would you even want to do that? But anyway, this is a very popular thing to be brought up in fandoms, and it's constantly brought up when fans take things too far. In other fandoms, you can always find people commenting, talking about the Rainbow Dash jar incident. But we're gonna go ahead and move on from this story because it's just gross. Now, this is the only other infamous fandom incident that I heard of back in high school, and it is just as, if not more infamous than the other one. Homestuck was a very popular webcomic when I was in high school, and I had a lot of friends who were into this fandom and into the webcomic and did cosplays and made original characters. I personally did not get into it, so I am not the person to give you a synopsis, but it is very popular and it is one of the longest running webcomics. I believe it's over 8,000 pages long, which is crazy because I have friends who are completely caught up on Homestuck. But it's also known to have one of the most toxic fan bases, and this story is a prime example of this fandom's toxicity, both figuratively and literally. I was able to find this story reposted by one of the original posters' friend, who also gave more details to the story. So I'm going to sum up the entire story with all the details that we know from both the original and then the additional information from the friend who reposted. Basically, what happened is a group of friends rented out a hotel room for a convention, and they got additional people to split among the hotel room because of the high price. And one of the girls who tagged along, they had met from a previous convention. She seemed nice enough, so they invited her to come along and go with them. And she is raving at this point about Homestuck, and it's like her new obsession, and is going on and on about the fandom and about the comic. It's a few hours until they have to leave for the convention, and the girl locks herself up in the bathroom and tells no one to come in. She's getting ready for her cosplay, which, understandable. But she has locked herself in the bathroom at this point of the story for 2 whole hours, and she's still not ready. The rest of the people still need to get their makeup, their costumes, some people's bags and clothing are in the bathroom with her, and they eventually start smelling something weird, and the girl still won't let anyone in. They finally are able to pry open the door, and what they saw was insane. The girl was laying in a bathtub that was half full of 70% alcohol and Sharpie ink in an attempt to dye her skin gray for her Homestuck cosplay. And this dye concoction was all over the walls, all over the bathroom tile, all over the towels, and had even gotten on some of the other girls' personal possessions. So the girls kept her in there so she could go to the front desk to pay for damages, which totaled to $700 worth of damages. And both the user who reposted the story and the original poster both claimed that she had received skin damage from alcohol poisoning. And some people have said that she died from it. Some people said she was sick or hospitalized, but I was not able to find anything that would confirm either way of it. No one's really come out and claimed to be the Homestuck bathroom dye girl, so we don't really know. But I do know that alcohol poisoning by soaking in it can be deadly. There have been multiple reports of people who have soaked in alcohol and the toxins getting absorbed to their skin and then getting alcohol poisoning from that. So it's not exactly so far out to believe that it is possible, but again, I cannot confirm it. Stuff like this happens to a lot of cosplayers that take it too far and they injure and damage their bodies in order to have the perfect cosplay. And stories like this, I feel like, just is a reminder that some cosplays just aren't worth it. If you want to look as accurate as possible, do so in a safe manner that is not going to cause damage to yourself in the end. Please, there are so many other ways to look like characters than dyeing your skin with alcohol and Sharpie. Don't do that. So this next one isn't like damaging or gross, it's just funny, but I did have to include it because of its infamy. My Immortal is usually referred to as the worst fanfiction ever. It was created in 2006 and posted from a user on fanfiction.net named Tara Gillespie, whose username is xxxbloodywrist666xxx, with help from her friend Raven, also known as Bloody Tears 666. There's a lot of grammatical errors. It's been criticized for not having a coherent story, and it also just kind of throws in things like sex, violence, and other things that they clearly have no idea what they're talking about. It's also not canonical in any way with the reference material. And it also heavily focuses on the mall goth subculture, which was very, very popular in the 2000s. Some have speculated that this so bad that it's good fanfiction was written purposely to be bad. Some people will purposely create bad fanfiction, and some people speculate that My Immortal is one of those. However, the original writer has not confirmed or denied this speculation. So what is My Immortal about? Well, it takes place in the world of Harry Potter and follows a character, Ebony Darkness Dementia Raven Way, who is a 17-year-old witch vampire goth, who is a student at Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. She is in a relationship with a goth version of Draco Malfoy and is concerned that he is still harboring feelings for an ex-lover, which is Vampire Potter, Harry Potter, like a vampire form of Harry Potter. And honestly, for the actual plot synopsis, I'm just going to quote the wiki because even reading it and trying to type a coherent script is just so hard. So here it goes. Ebony forms a romantic attachment to Draco Malfoy, an elegant goth in the story, in spite of her concern that he has a relationship with Vampire Potter and may still be interested in him. Voldemort, claiming to know Ebony's relationship with Draco through telekinesis, commands her to kill Harry. Various people confess that they love Ebony, while she often has sex with Draco. Snape and Lupin are both lovers and P3DOs who scheme against Ebony. Ebony begins to have precognitive visions. Professor Sinister tells Ebony that if Voldemort has ever had people who loved him, he would not have become evil. Using a time machine, Ebony befriends young Voldemort, who is a goth in a band, and gets him to reconcile with his ex, a bisexual man named Hedwig. Ebony then takes Voldemort back to her time, accidentally making him evil again. The fic is apparently abandoned and incomplete, ending with a cliffhanger in chapter 44 as Ebony shoots an abracadabra curse at Voldemort. What a mouthful. But don't worry, I have quotes for the actual fan fiction, so we can discuss all together how bad this truly is. Now, if I can say this for a straight face, that'll be a miracle. Draco leaned in extra close, and I looked into his gothic red eyes. He was wearing colored contacts, which revealed so much depressing sorrow and evilness. And then suddenly, I didn't feel mad anymore. And then suddenly, just as Draco kissed me passionately. Draco climbed on top of me and we started to make out keenly against a tree. He took off my top and I took off his clothes. I even took off my bra. Then he put his thingy in my you-know-what and we did it for the first time. That lit up with so many grammar and spell checks on my Google Doc that my paper here looked like an American flag for a minute. Ooh, I think I might have made a mistake. Just gonna keep going. In the Great Hall, I ate some Count Chocula cereal with blood instead of milk and a glass of red blood. Suddenly, someone bumped into me. All the blood spilled over my top. Bastard, I shouted angrily. I regretted saying it when I looked up, because I was looking into the pale white face of a gothic boy with spiky black hair with red streaks in it. He was wearing so much eyeliner that I was... Okay, I thought I said that wrong. Okay. He was wearing so much eyeliner that I was going down his face, and he was wearing black lipstick. He didn't have glasses anymore, and now he was wearing red contact lenses just like Draco's, and there was no scar on his forehead anymore. He had a manly stubble on his chin. He had a sexy English accent. He looked exactly like Joel Madden. He was so sexy that my body went all hot when I saw him, kind of like an only I'm a girl, so I don't get one, you sicko. "I'm so sorry," he said in a shy voice. "That's all right. What's your name?" I questioned. My name's Harry Potter, although most people call me Vampire these days, he grumbled. Why? I exclaimed. Because I love the taste of human blood, he giggled. Is he a vampire or not? I don't even know. Who's Joel Madden? Hold on. Is this someone I should know? Oh, okay. Lead singer Good Charlotte. I didn't know his freaking name. You're cute though. Well, that was something all right. And I will definitely have a lot of editing to do on that. And probably some funny TikToks and bloopers. So as I mentioned, the original fanfiction stopped at a cliffhanger at chapter 44. And chapter 39 was supposedly written by a troll who was able to hack into Tara's fanfiction.net account and get a hold of her draft and just rewrote the whole thing. And you can tell this was written by someone else because it just is much more coherent, much more well written than the original fanfiction. And let's read a little bit of that. Why not? Just to compare. Just to compare. A flash of white light from the ashes then started to bounce around the room. Everyone cowered in fear and were temporarily blinded. When it was all over, things changed. All the silly goth clothes dropped from everyone's bodies. Authors know I refuse to explain how the hell that happened. And in their place, the clothes the characters would normally wear in canon appeared on their bodies. When everyone got over the shock of becoming free of gothic power, everybody cheered. Everyone started singing Ding Dong, the Sue is dead. Well, that is until all the Harry Potter characters realized the true implications of becoming more canon again. All the characters who were supposed to be dead fell to the floor, their bodies cold and lifeless. Harry and Voldemort started dueling. On the left side of the two, the battle of the light side and the dark side were reaching a climax. And because the replacement author also likes to screw around with canon, Draco and Hermione fled the scene and got married. See, it's much more different. Yeah. And rather than changing the chapter, Tara left it as is and made a reference about it in her following chapter in the author's note. The fanfiction received a lot of infamy in the fandom and was highly criticized for its poor writing and also the fact that it did not stick to the actual original Harry Potter story at all. And a lot of people came back not just for the story, but for the author's notes that were always at the beginning of each chapter, which honestly I found harder to read than the actual fanfiction. I could not decipher half of that, which is why I did not put an example in this video. She would basically call out the flamers, the ones who were leaving negative reviews, and would call them preps. And a lot of people found this very interesting and would come back not just for the fanfiction, but to see what the author's notes said. The original fanfiction was deleted from fanfiction.net in 2008 for unknown reasons, but it's still fairly easy to find copies online. In fact, if I get 1,000 subscribers, I'll do a dramatic reading of the whole thing. Screw it, I will. So, subscribe. The next story is a reminder of not to take ships so seriously, because this is a story where someone tried to seriously hurt or kill someone because of fan art she did of the ship. And being part of a fandom that takes their ships very seriously, I am sometimes worried that this could definitely happen. And I, of course, am talking about the Undertale needle cookie situation. In 2017, a Taiwanese fan artist was at a convention and had received some cookies from a supposed fan. However, they were not aware that this supposed fan had put needles in the cookies that they gave him to intentionally hurt or... And why did someone do this? They didn't like a ship that the fan artist drew. Now listen, I know absolutely nothing about Undertale. I think I fell asleep to a video of Game Grumps playing it one time because my husband was watching it and I fell asleep halfway through, so I really wasn't paying much attention. A lot of my friends did play the game. I didn't play the game. I know nothing about the game. All I know is Sans and the funny fan songs that came out of it. That's about it. I know nothing about the characters, but I was able to find out that the ship the artist drew had to do with Sans and Frisk, and I am to understand in the game Frisk is underage. I don't know any of the characters' names. I just know Sans. That's literally the only person I know. And I'm definitely not supporting the ship. I do not support underage ships. I don't support the fan art. I'm gonna make that very clear. However, to go as far as to someone who drew the fan art, I think takes things a bit too far. That's all I have about to say. I don't really want to touch the situation on that very much, other than, don't people for their fan art. There's some people who pointed out that the fan art was supposed to be of Frisk. It's like an older version, but I can't confirm that, so I don't know. But that's about all the information we have on it. I did find a picture like of the cookie and the needle, but there is blood in that picture, so I don't want to show it for obvious reasons. But yeah, if you're upset with ships and fan arts, just rant about it in a comment or an email. Don't go out and kill on behalf of fictional characters, because that's just insane. And also, never accept food from people at conventions. That's also a very important lesson to this story. So, yeah. So this next one is also really gross, and I tried to find as much information as I could on it, but there really isn't a lot to go off of, so I'm gonna do my best. And if any of y'all want to be sweethearts and maybe give me some fill in the blanks on this, or any of them really, yeah, let me know in the comments specifically on this one, because I literally have absolutely no idea why this happened. I can't find anyone explaining the why, just the what happened, not why it happened. So yeah, if anyone does know, let me know. Also, again, this one is a very gross one, so if you want to skip it, I'll put a timestamp here. You can skip it, because this also involves bodily fluids. So yeah. Whew. So in 2021, a TikToker was showing a poster on her wall of Bakugo from My Hero Academia, and they were responding to a comment that said #cancel Bakugo 2021. I know nothing about the fandom, so I have no clue why we wanted to cancel Bakugo. All I could find were people were just upset in general over the character. I don't know. Again, I'm not part of this fandom, so if anyone knows exactly why we were canceling Bakugo in 2021, please let me know. Thanks. Anyway, the video showed her smearing her used tampon all over the poster. And yeah, no one knows why. I've seen some people say it's because she loves Bakugo. There's some people who said that's because she hates Bakugo. I don't have a definite answer though, and I don't think we'll ever have a definite answer. But the worst part of this story is, this is not the only time this has happened. There is a video where someone did the exact same thing to Gojo from Jujutsu Kaisen. I am to believe, I think they said it's the exact same user who did the one to Bakugo. One person did it to a Stray Kids, which is a K-pop band, Stray Kids poster. And then someone also did it to Angel Dust from Hazbin Hotel. Just why? What is the purpose of this? Like, I can't find a reason why people do it. Is it because they love the character? Is it because they hate the character? Is it to make some kind of statement? Like, why a tampon? Why use period blood or blood at all? Why are we making these kind of statements? Like, someone please explain why we do these gross things. Well, not we, but these people. Why do these people do gross things? I just had a little mini mental breakdown trying to comprehend that. Let's go to the next one. So now we get to talk about one from my fandom. This involved a YouTuber called Verbalase, and the rumor was he spent $50,000 on a spicy Hazbin Hotel animation for his birthday. Now, Verbalase is a YouTuber who is famous for his cartoon beatbox series, and he's also apparently a big Hazbin Hotel fan, which... same. So this incident happened, some screenshots were shared, and then Verbalase responded. So I'm going to use all of the information that I have here to try to tell the story of what happened with the $50,000 Hazbin Hotel animation. I put it in quotations because it's not exactly $50,000. It's a little less, but you know. Anyways, back in 2021, Verbalase had hired an animation studio to get started on a project that would insert him into the Hazbin Hotel universe. The video is an animated music video to the song Hideaway that features an animated version of Verbalase being seduced by Charlie Morningstar from Hazbin Hotel. It's apparently very different from the type of content that Verbalase would usually post, and it was originally intended, according to him, for a separate YouTube channel that he was tinkering with that would include more mature content like this. There is a Discord chat screenshot that was timestamped from 2021 where Verbalase was alluding to the fact that he had a big project he was working on and that he had already spent $47,000 on it. He also said that it was a project that was not appropriate for YouTube, so he would not be posting it on his channel. And most people assume that it is the Hazbin Hotel Hideaway video. Now, in his apology video, he did not confirm or deny that this is the project that he was talking about. He just said that he had hired an animation company and paid them to make the video. So I guess we kind of have to read between the lines on that this is likely what he was referring to. And it was $47,000. The video was completed in 2022, and it was uploaded onto the separate channel that Verbalase had made, marking it for ages 18 and up. He said he might have even unlisted it, but he ended up deleting it along with the channel entirely with the want to focus on other projects. But he did not take into account that someone could have downloaded the video, which is exactly what someone did. Someone had ended up downloading the video when it went up in 2022, and without permission of Verbalase, went and posted it on Verbalase's birthday in January 2024, a couple of years later. And then after this was posted the second time, not by Verbalase, but by the anonymous user, we then got the screenshots of the Discord server to see how much money he actually paid for it and things like that. But Verbalase did end up making an apology video. I watched the entire thing. It's very sincere. It's honestly like 10 out of 10 apology video. Honestly, I don't think he needed to make one. I just think he needed to explain like the situation. But he did do it, and it's out there. And you know what? He did great. It's a very good apology video. He did, however, say that this was always meant for mature audiences. He did not have the intent for younger audiences to view it. He had it unlisted. He had it flagged, so you had to be 18 or older to watch the video. And that makes sense considering the content that he usually makes is cartoon beatboxing, which features characters like SpongeBob and Mickey Mouse that kids usually will click on to watch. Now, personally, if you do have the money and you're willing to spend it on a project like this, go for it. I don't have an issue with it. But here's the issue that most people had. The issue that some people had was when the video was released, there seemed to have been a delay on the character beatboxing videos. And they were speculating that the money that Verbalase had put towards this Hazbin Hotel video caused him to go bankrupt and tank his channel entirely. Now, I watched the entirety of his apology video and the video where he kind of sums everything up, and he never really touched on that part. All he said was he was continuing to make the content that is usually made on his channel. So I'm not really sure how true that is. I don't want to spread any rumors that are not true. Now, personally, if I had the funds, I've written so many fan fictions that I would love to see as a webcomic or even animated. If I had the money, I'd probably do something very similar. So if he has the money and he wants to spend it, go for it. I am not going to judge. And then there's this one. If you want to click off the video now, I will not blame you. This is my last entry, and it is probably the worst one on here. If you know, you know, but yeah, it's really, really bad. The title of this fanfiction is Dipper Goes to Taco Bell. And it was a shock fic, which is basically a fan fiction that is made intentionally to horrify, disgust, or shock the viewer. And it was posted originally on fanfiction.net, just like my Immortal, by the user called Master of the Citrus Fruits. It was originally uploaded in August of 2012, but was removed for violating terms of service, which you're gonna see why in a minute. However, I did look it up, and it does look like it's back on there. Someone re-uploaded it back in May of 2023. I don't know if it was rewritten or edited. I did not read it. I did not want to read it after finding the description and the synopsis. I can't share everything that happens. That's how bad it is. I cannot share everything that happens in this because of how horrible it is. But the main plot is that Dipper finds a Taco Bell in the middle of the woods. Despite his suspicions, he goes ahead and buys a taco and eats the taco. And he is then in the bathroom. Some things happen there, which result in him being unalive. Then Mabel finds him. And it ends with Mabel also being unalived by a Taco Bell employee and the twins being turned into Taco Bell meat. I know I left a lot out, but there are just some things I cannot say on YouTube. It is available online. I do not recommend looking it up because just like reading the synopsis and the description of what happens, the plot made me physically ill. So I do not encourage it. But I guess if you're curious, I can't stop you. I'm not your mom. This is infamous in the Gravity Falls fandom. People have made memes on it. People have done recreations and animations and wrote songs about it. It's a very popular thing to be discussed in the Gravity Falls fandom. So much so that Alex Hirsch, the creator of Gravity Falls, has probably read it. He made a statement that was kind of vaguely implying that he did, and some people have taken a reference or two from episodes and references in the video game to be referencing Dipper Goes to Taco Bell. However, that obviously can't be confirmed. I personally can't handle reading shock fics like that anymore, but I mean, this was a shock fic, so it was made to shock, and yeah, it shocked. And that was my list of fandoms that went too far. If you have any other insane stories that I might have missed from other fandoms, let me know in the comments below and I'll do a part 2. Also, if I missed any information on some of these fandoms that I'm not as familiar with, let me know in the comments as well. I'm only human, so, you know, but I do like to improve on my craft. So yeah, let me know there as well. Also, tell me if there's literally anything else you want me to cover. I kind of want to talk about true crime cases that are linked to people in fandoms. I also want to talk about like hoaxes that I think are interesting, things like that. So leave any suggestions for anything else that I should cover. I'm kind of trying to do a little more of like informative stuff instead of just only like theories and reactions and things like that. I kind of want to branch out and talk about stuff that are a little more factual, like things I can actually like look up and inform people about. So yeah, let me know if there's anything like that you want me to look into, and I'll take those suggestions. And if you liked this video, again, let me know by liking and subscribing to my channel for more things like this. I'm not kidding, by the way. If I reach 1,000 subs, I will do a serious reading, like audiobook-esque reading of my Immortal. As, you know, as serious as I can be. Come on. I have a lot that I had to edit out for this one. Maybe I'll do a separate blooper. Maybe I'll just make them reels or shorts or TikToks or whatever. Anyway, I hope you're all having a great day. Stay safe, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.
Blah, blah, blah.